Good morning, dear students. Welcome back again with a new session of Science 2, lesson number 18, Standard 9, Observing Space Telescopes. From early days, man has been curious about the sun as well as moon and stars seen in the night sky. Using the boundless imagination, he tried to understand the sky as observed by the naked eyes. He noticed that the position of the stars changed with time and had something to do with the occurrence of seasons. As the knowledge of the cycle of season was necessary for agriculture, sky watching began to prove useful to him. The position of the constellation was also useful to sea goers for navigation. Man began to make determined efforts to find answers to questions which arose out of his sky watching. But he did not have any equipment to get closer view of the stars and planets in the sky, and therefore could not find out the answer. Today, 400 years after Galileo's use of telescope, tremendous progress has been made in telescope technology and in space science and technology in the whole. This great leap in technology has helped to construct for us an astounding picture of our universe. Space science and technology are not only important for research purposes but also to help provide us with many of the comforts and facilities in our everyday life. A telescope is used to observe space, but will one telescope be sufficient for us to observe the space completely? Why do we need different telescopes for the purpose? Are telescopes isolated or installed even in the space? In this chapter, we are going to study the science behind many such questions. And before we move ahead, we'll go through the introduction about the scientist. In 1608, spectacle maker and researcher Hans Lippershey discovered that seeing through two lenses kept one behind the other seems to bring object closer to us. He thus made the first telescope. Galileo made a telescope in 1609 and used it for the space observation. He realized that there are many more stars than what could be seen through the naked eyes. Using this telescope, he also discovered the moons of Jupiter and black spots on the sun, etc. Now, different forms of light. Light is an electromagnetic wave. Every wave has characteristic wavelength. Our eyes can see only that light which has wavelength between 400 nanometer to 800 nanometer. Such light is called as visible radiation. So, whichever object whose wavelength falls between the range of 400 nanometer to 800 nanometer, only that object could be observed by human beings. The frequency less than 400 nanometer or more than 800 nanometer cannot be observed by human being. However, there are electromagnetic waves of wavelength other than the visible ones, which we cannot see as our eyes are not sensitive to them. In order to explain this part, here one table is the type of radiation. Radio waves longer than about 20 centimeter wavelength. Microwaves, the requirement is zero point 0.3 nanometer to 20 centimeter. Infrared waves 800 nanometer to zero point 0.3 millimeter. A visible light rays 400 nanometer to 800 nanometer. Ultraviolet rays 300 picometer to 400 nanometer. X-rays 3 picometer to 300 picometer. Gamma rays shorter than 3 picometer. Now we'll just have a look over the units. 1 nanometer is 10 raised to 9 meter and 1 picometer is 10 raised to minus 12 meter. So these are the ranges of different waves. Of all the above types, our eyes are only capable of seeing the visible radiation. Thus, we use the visible radiation telescope, that is, optical telescope, made from our regular lenses or mirrors to see the visible radiation coming from the space. However, many heavenly bodies emit radiations other than visible light. Thus, we need different types of telescopes like the X-ray, gamma ray, radio telescope to receive such radiations and to study their sources. So first of all, we'll discuss about optical telescope, that is which you see with our naked eyes. Most optical telescopes are made with 2 or more lenses as shown in figure 18.1 to collect the maximum amount of light coming from the heavenly object. The object lens should be made as large as possible. Using the light collected by the objective, a smaller lens called the eyepiece produces a large image of the source. Light rays change their direction as they enter a lens from the atmosphere and again they enter the atmosphere after passing through the lens. This is called as refraction. Hence, such telescopes are called as refracting telescope. We shall study the image formation by lenses in the next standard. Even though such a telescope is useful for space observation, it presents certain difficulties. Now, what are the difficulties while using the telescope? The first difficulty, as we saw above, if you wish to obtain the bright image of a source by collecting the maximum possible light from it, the objective lens must be as large as possible. However, it is very difficult to make very large lens. Also, large lenses are very heavy and tend to get distorted. As the objective and the eyepiece are placed at the opposite end of the telescope, the length of the telescope also increases with increase in the size of the lens, and the telescope becomes difficult to manage. Third difficulty, the images formed by the lenses have errors of colors. This is called as chromatic aberration. So these are the difficulties faced by us while using the big lenses. So how to overcome these difficulties? To overcome these difficulties, telescopes are made using concave mirrors. As light rays get reflected by mirrors in these telescopes, they are called as reflecting telescopes. In order to get a bright image of a source, large mirrors are necessary so that they can collect a large amount of light from the source. But it is easier to make large mirrors as compared to make large lenses. Also, big mirrors can be made by combining several smaller pieces. Weight of large mirror too is less than that of the lens of the same size. The images formed by mirrors do not have errors of color. Only by using these large telescopes can we see far away stars and galaxies, which we could never have seen using our naked eyes. The reflecting telescopes are mainly of two types, Newtonian and Cassegrain, as shown in the figure 18.2. You can see the two pictures here, Newtonian and Cassegrain. As shown in figure 18.2, light rays coming from the space are reflected by the concave mirror. Before these reflected rays converge at the focus, they are deflected again by a small plane mirror. As a result, they get focused at a point lying on the perpendicular to the axis of the telescope cylinder. They pass through the eyepiece and we get a magnified image of the source. The construction of Cassegrain type of telescope is shown in figure 18.3. The Cassigan telescope also uses a concave mirror. However, they are light rays after reflection from the concave mirror are reflected back towards it by a small convex mirror. They pass through a hole at the center of the concave mirror, then pass through the eyepiece situated at the back of the mirror. The eyepiece gives us a magnified image of the source. Now we'll move to the another subtopic that is called as radio telescope. Radio telescope. Many heavenly objects emit radio waves in addition to visible radiation. We cannot see the radiation with our eyes. Hence, a special type of telescope is used to receive these rays. It is called as radio telescope. It is made from one or more dishes of a particular parabolic shape. As an optical telescope, the incident radio waves are reflected by these dishes and converge at the focus. A radio receiver is placed at the focal point. The information gathered by this receiver is passed on a computer which analyzes it and constructs an image of the source. There is a photograph of radio telescope and the structure of the radio telescope. We'll just go through it. A large radio telescope called a giant meter wave radio telescope, in short we also call it as GMRT, has been created at Narayangaon near Pune. It uses radio waves having wavelength of about a meter coming from heavenly bodies to study those objects. This telescope is actually a collection of 30 dishes, each having a diameter of 45 meters. It is called a giant telescope as the arrangement of the 30 dishes over an area which measures up to 25 km across is made in such a way that it works as a single dish having a diameter of 25 km. This means that GMRT gives the same data that we could have got it from a telescope having a single dish of 25 km diameter. GMRT has been made by Indian scientists and engineers at a minimum cost. It is a world standard research facilities. Scientists study the solar system, solar winds, pulsars, supernova, interstellar hydrogen clouds, etc. with the help of the GMRT. Scientists from all over the world come to India to make use of these facilities. Telescopes in space. Visible light and radio waves emitted by heavenly bodies in space can pass through Earth's atmosphere and reach Earth's surface. So, optical and radio telescope can be erected on the surface of the Earth. However, these Earth-based telescopes present some problems in making good quality of observation. Now, what are those? That we'll discuss it in the next paragraph. The visible light coming from a heavenly body has to pass through Earth's atmosphere to reach Earth's surface. During this journey, some of the light is absorbed by the atmosphere and the intensity of light reaching the Earth's surface decreases. A second problem is caused by the changes in the atmospheric pressure and temperature. These changes causes turbulence in the atmosphere, which in turn causes of the light rays to change their path slightly, thereby shake the position of the image. Also, because of sunlight, we cannot see the optical telescopes during the day. During the night, too, city lights and cloudy weather can cause difficulties in observing heavenly bodies. To reduce these problems, the optical telescopes are situated at the top of the mountains at an uninhabited places. However, if you want to get rid of all the above problems completely, we should place the telescope above the Earth's atmosphere in space itself. These problems do not exist in the space and thus the image obtained by space telescopes would be bright and very clear and will remain at one place. Scientists have turned this idea into reality. Now, how it could be possible to place a mirror in the space? That was done by the Indian scientist. You can see the picture over here. Now, Indian Space Research Organization Bangalore, in short form we also called as ISRO. This institute was established in 1969 with the aim of developing technology for making and launching artificial satellites. Till date, ISRO has successfully launched a large number of satellites. ISRO's program is foremost among the successful programs undertaken by independent India. India's progress in space science has played a big role in the national and social development. The INSAT and GSAT series of satellites supports our telecommunication network, television broadcasting, and meteorological devices. It is because of them that telephone, television, and internet services are available everywhere in the world. The EduSat satellite in this series is used exclusively for education. The IRS satellites series is used for the monitoring and the management of natural resources as well as disaster management. Last but not the least, AstroSat. In 2015, Indian research organizations ISRO launched an artificial satellite called as AstroSat in space. This satellite has ultraviolet and X-ray telescopes and detectors. Most of the parts used in these satellites are made in India. It is a unique system having different kinds of telescope on a single satellite. Indian scientists are studying various aspects of the universe using the data obtained with these telescopes. Collect more information about telescopes that work in space apart from the Hubble and Chandra telescopes. Here we have exposed all the subtopics of these lessons. Remaining other lessons we'll discuss it in the next video. Till then, have a great day.